Qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix. Some surprises, some absolutely predictable things. On pole, Max Verstappen, that's one of the predictable things. Second and third, meanwhile, was a surprise to me. George Russell in second, and then Lewis Hamilton in third. Well done to George, first of all. He's 3-0 up against Lewis in the first three races in qualifying, which is incredibly impressive. And he bet him by about a tenth, which is a pretty convincing gap for teammates, and to be beating a 7-time world champion by a tenth in qualifying is very impressive. Very impressed with him. And now I'm wondering, does the Mercedes have general pace or does it have Australia pace? You'd have to say Australia pace. I mean, if you're going off the form book, because the form has not been great anywhere else. And we'll see in the race tomorrow. Again, it could all go to pot. I think Max Verstappen probably absolutely takes off, avoiding any reliability concerns, because that seems to be the only thing that's kind of niggling at Red Bull at the moment, is the reliability stuff. A little bit more today about the downshifts and the battery as well in qualifying. Anyway, that's the top three. Then in fourth, Fernando Alonso. He'll be disappointed with fourth, I think. And if you told him that at the start of the season, he would have been very happy. So in general, I think he's probably still happy, knows the car has pace, and is probably looking forward to trying to race the two Mercedes ahead of him tomorrow, rather than just being second for the whole race. I think he'll probably get up to second, depending on what the Mercedes race pace is like. Then we got Carlos Sainz, Lance Stroll, Charles Leclerc, Albon and Gasly and Hülkenberg round out the top 10. Sainz, well done Sainz. For me, that's quite surprising, and it seemed to be on merit as well that he bet Leclerc. What's the gap? Quick maths is not happening. It's about a tenth as well. It's actually almost exactly a tenth. So again, well done Sainz. Fair is fair play. We'll see how they do in the race. It feels like anything could happen between the Mercedes, the Aston Martins, and the Ferrari. I feel as though, to me, it feels like Ferrari are the least likely to end up on the podium out of those. And if I had to say who have been the fourth most efficient team in the first couple of races, it's been Ferrari. Well done to Albon. He's been a tank in the second sector all weekend, and I can only imagine that continues tomorrow. And an absolute whopper DRS train is going to be following him around 8th to 20th, I can imagine. Gasly then, Hülkenberg, Ocon, Tsunoda, Lando, McLaren. Not good. I thought it was going to be better for McLaren. I thought maybe things might start to look a little bit brighter, and I was hopeful for Oscar that at his home race he could maybe even get into Q2 even. I know he spoke at the start of the weekend about hopefully getting into Q3 and wanting some points. Doesn't look too likely unless the race pace is a lot better than the quali pace. After Lando, Kevin Magnussen, he got a bit dusted by Hülkenberg today, and has been a little bit in general, in qualifying at least, which is quite surprising. I would have said Magnussen would have had the better of the two of those at the start of the season, but Hülkenberg's doing really well, to be fair. He's just a really solid driver in all areas. Race pace, qualifying, gets the job done. Nothing absolutely extraordinary, but nothing terrible either, which is kind of what Haas are looking for at the moment. They're not trying to take any risks and just trying to get a solid foundation to build on. After that, Nick de Vries, who I was more impressed with today. He was pushing Tsunoda a lot more than he had in the first couple of races. Oscar Piastri then, Zhou Guanyu, Logan Sargent, Valtteri Bottas. Alfa Romeo don't look great. They don't look great. Bottas had a great first race, and now it doesn't look brilliant. Qualified by almost 2/10 to his teammate who was in his second season of F1. So that's not great for Bottas. And then, of course, last is Sergio Perez, who I have to feel sorry for. He had a terrible FP3 and then straight into quali and basically at the first time of asking, puts it in the wall. He was very unlucky to not get out of the gravel. I thought he'd gotten out, and he thought he'd gotten out too. And then he just hit the wall, and he was beached, and there was nothing he could do. He's blamed it on the car. I mean, I'm inclined to believe him, because that's not the kind of error that you see from someone as seasoned as Checo in a car that's generally as good as that car is. And I just think Checo is better than that. So I'm inclined to believe him that it was a car issue. I know Horner said they don't know exactly what it was, but he seemed to be having trouble all weekend. Essentially, Max is probably going to run away with this, and Checo's going to try and come through. I feel he'll have difficulty coming through. It's a hard track to come through, first of all, and Max kind of didn't have it as easy as he would have liked in Jeddah, which is a way easier track to overtake on. So Checo could have some issues tomorrow, but I imagine he'll get up top 5, top 6, something like that, pretty easily. And then if a bit of luck falls his way, maybe even better. So that's it for qualifying, really. It was a pretty entertaining qualifying session. Looking forward to the race tomorrow, bright and early. So nice one for watching. See you next time.